I thought Republicans believed that welfare made people lazy. If that is the case, why do they want to give so much welfare to the Israeli government, thus making them lazier and unable to defend themselves against Hamas? That's pretty weird, huh?
In Washington, the battle over aid to Israel remains a contentious issue among lawmakers. Top House Republicans spent the weekend defending billions in proposed cuts to the IRS, part of a standalone Israel aid package. The House voted last week mostly along party lines to pass the bill, which does not include any funding for Ukraine in its ongoing war with Russia. NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ryan Nobles joins us now. So, Ryan, the standalone House bill would provide more than $14 billion of aid to Israel. Senate Democrats say it has no chance of passing. If somehow it did, President Biden has said he would veto it. So what are we hearing now from the new House Speaker, Mike Johnson, about where things stand when it comes to all this aid overseas?
Well, Joe, he seems pretty insistent that any sort of funding package from Israel is going to have, for Israel, I should say, is going to have to be offset with spending cuts in other areas. He's targeted this plan to expand the number of IRS agents in order to collect taxes that the federal government needs. And that's something that senators have basically said that they're not interested in. So it's likely the Senate will pretty much ignore the House package and then just send back a package of their own that could include funding for other areas. But that will be the big question when it heads back to the House. How will Speaker Johnson respond? And he's already previewing how that may happen. Take a listen.
What they don't like is that in the House, we're trying to be good stewards of the taxpayers' resources. We offset that spending. Instead of printing new dollars or borrowing it from another nation to send over to fulfill our obligations and help our ally, we want to pay for it. What a concept. We're trying to change how Washington works. It's more important to protect Israel right now than it is to hire more IRS agents.
Now, it's important to point out that the Congressional Budget Office actually said that cutting those IRS agents would actually increase the deficit, not make it better. So that's something that's up for debate right now. But as it stands right now, Joe, it seems very unlikely that the bill that passed the House is the bill that will ultimately become law.
So, Ryan, we know the president, Senate Democrats, they say they support this broader $106 billion aid package, which would help both Israel and Ukraine, plus funding for U.S. border operations. I'm going to try to tap your expertise on Capitol Hill here. What do you think it's going to take to get something that both the House and the Senate will pass?
I really think the key, Joe, is going to be some sort of policy change as it relates to border security. That seems to be an area where you could get conservatives to get on board with something along those lines because it's something that they really care about. And while you've seen some House Republicans in particular be reluctant to continue funding for Ukraine, they are insistent that changes seriously happen along the southern border. And while the administration, Senate Democrats have been interested in funding increases for border security, it's the policy changes that conservatives really care about. And there could be an openness in the White House to policy changes as well. So that'll be the key negotiating tactic I think you'll see in the Senate in the coming weeks. Whether or not it's a package that can get enough support in the House is something that remains an open question.